Hey everyone, it's Alexis. I am back with a brand new video, and today I'm talking about perspective in your manifestation process. How can we bring in a different perspective? And just like some overarching manifestation tips, perspective switches. Okay, so I haven't done a video really specifically about this before, but I mentioned this kind of verbiage and these ideas to clients this week. And it really resonated. So I thought, you know what? Let's just bring it into a video to help everyone. Okay. Before I get started, just a reminder, the links for booking one-on-one coaching with me are in the box below. If you look at my calendar and you don't see time that fits you, please email sessions@createyourfuture.co. And you can also book with me further into the future and on the calendar. Like if you want something in a couple of weeks and it's not available online. Okay. I'm not saying booking 6 months from now. That's not my preference, but you can email us to get my next available spot. Okay. Also, the links are booking to all of my courses. If you're looking for a self-concept course that I have created, I actually have created those. They just aren't called self-concept. They were made 4 years ago before the self-concept jargon was really, really so popular. So I didn't call them that. But the Master Manifestor course, as well as the Get Your SP Now, both deal with self-concept. Okay. And there's something that the self-concept topic I'm going to talk about today. And the self-concept topic is something that is interwoven in all of my offerings. You guys, I almost forgot. Check out my sweatshirt. Manifesting. Now, I almost didn't wear this today because I thought it's like, you know, the old saying, when you go to Metallica, you don't wear the Metallica shirt. And I thought, this is a manifesting video. I'm actually wearing my manifesting sweatshirt. This is from Abercrombie. It was on sale. I had to get it because I also like the style. Okay. But isn't that funny? So it's kind of a secret here, hidden down here. But hey, let's talk about your perspective in manifesting. How are you going about this whole thing? Okay. This will also help you if you're frustrated, irritated, and annoyed at the manifestation process, which I have heard a lot from people over the years. If you are irritated, frustrated, and annoyed at yourself, are you irritated, frustrated, annoyed, just like done with the whole thing? Have you done so many affirmations that it's like, Alexis, if you give me another affirmation, I am going to throw it at the wall, right? Now, I often equate this to when we are creating our reality and you end up feeling like you are in the corner. Like I always imagine when people get to this point that they're in the corner of a room, they have the dunce hat on and they're like hitting the corner, like just come on. I cannot watch more content. I can't hear another thing. I can't do another affirmation. I can't do another visualization. I just can't do it anymore. Now, what does that show us, right? That we're at a point of frustration and irritation and annoyance. Okay. And let's talk today about what do we do about that? Because it's something that I think everybody that is learning the skill of creating their reality from within, creating reality from themselves, taking full ownership to a certain extent of what's going on with the things that you want to change, rework, recreate. Okay. This is not going to be a video where I am going against all my other videos and saying, feel free to be frustrated, feel free to get in the mode of being victims, etc. No, we want to figure out a way to work through it. Okay. But like any other human emotion, you want to not resist it. What does that mean? What does that look like? That means you don't want to get frustrated at getting frustrated. You don't want to get mad at yourself that you got mad at your SP. You don't want to put yourself down when you react in your reality and then say, oh, I reacted and all the videos on YouTube tell me not to react. So I reacted. So guess what? This manifesting thing, I'm like a big failure. Not that either, right? What do we do when we're frustrated? How do we handle it? What do we do when we're annoyed? Number one, this speaks to you. You want to fully feel the frustration, the irritation, and the annoyance. You want to welcome it. Now, it is getting like kind of dark in here. You know, I usually have the screen turned down. Just sort of funny. It got a little darker. I'm not sure if that translated to the video, but we all go through periods like this. Okay. There is not a person on the planet, no matter what you see on social media, no matter what you see on Snapchat, no matter what you see on Instagram, no matter what you see on TikTok. Okay. There is not a person who is unconsciously creating their reality where everything is great all of the time, when there's not a person that is creating their reality where everything is great and they never feel frustrated. Okay. The other thing is I want to tell you to stop comparing yourself to other people that you hear in success stories, thinking that your situation is worse, thinking that you have it worse off, thinking that there's no one like you. Okay. At least in my success stories and in my videos that I've talked about clients who are recreating relationships, recreating themselves, recreating reality, I haven't been able to do all the success stories and all the examples that have ever come in because I do a video a week. Okay. But chances are that I have talked to someone just like you in your situation or something that is similar. Okay. But do you see how? Now, what is the main principle we're talking about here? It is controlling that negative voice that comes in and not letting the over analytical, over logistical voice come in and tell you like, oh, well, this manifesting thing too. You're so horrible at this, you know, like getting frustrated at the frustration. Okay. The thing is, when we are staying in frustration, which we don't want to do. Now, you're only staying in frustration, staying in irritation, because you're probably also not letting yourself totally feel and embrace being frustrated and annoyed. Now, I could hear everybody say, oh, Alexis, aren't I supposed to be in the state of the wish fulfilled? And aren't I supposed to be always living in the end of my desire? So like, I would never get frustrated if I had it. Yeah, that's true. But a lot of times people are living in the end, right? And having a lot of opposing thoughts and nothing is happening. Okay. Your thoughts create and your thoughts create the whole scenario. So if your thoughts create the whole scenario, when you have an involvement in your 3D reality and you talk to yourself negatively about it, those thoughts are creating more of the same. Okay. So I'm getting off topic here on perspective switch because I'm imagining questions coming in and I'm answering those, but that's okay. So listen, I want you to ask yourself, and I want to ask you, what is your overarching perspective on reality creation? Let's sit with that for a second. What is your overarching perspective on reality creation? Now, if you are new, let's say this is your first video that you just somehow found in cyberspace of me. What is she talking about reality creation? Watch a previous video. Okay. This video is mainly for people that have been practicing this, but reality creation is my thoughts create. I am at the epicenter because I am the creator of my reality, and a mental diet talk. Okay. But like, hey, let's go for it. What's your overarching perspective on this whole thing? Now, let me tell you some things I've heard and some things that I think are pretty typical from people that are practicing this on their own, with or without coaching, just trying to figure it out. And let's talk about relationships specifically, because that's what most people come to me to manifest. And it's my specialty. Okay. Most people have the perspective of this is so difficult. This is so hard. There's so many things to change. There's just, how do I do this? Where do I go? Alexis, this is so hard because like, where do I even manifest from? Do I live in the end if I haven't talked to the person in 5 years? Do I live in the end if we're already in a relationship? Do I live in the end of communication? Okay. Is that you? And let's be honest with ourselves today. Are you tending to listen to your over analytical, logical mind, and that leads the perspective in your manifestation practices? Okay. Okay. Think of it like you have two minds in a way. Okay. There's actually probably way more minds in there, meaning voices that you hear. Let's say three. Let's say three for purposes of psychology, thinking of how the mind works. There's the voice of logic and analytics, which is, this isn't real. Like, look at this, look at that, look at this, look at that. Look what he did. Look what she said. Look what they did. Look what they said. Look at that. There's so much information, Alexis, about that's reality and that's the story and that's truth. That's mind number one. Let's think that there is mind number two. That is the voice of someone, usually a previous or current caregiver, mom, dad, someone that comes in and says, you can't do this. Nope. It's never going to happen for you. Don't you remember that you're such an XYZ, right? Which turns into, I am such an XYZ. Okay. Now, the thing is this, there is a third mind, which is underneath it all. That is your deeper level of consciousness and awareness in who you are. If I sit here and I just like, I don't want to take a moment, right? I can identify where all of those aspects are within me, Alexis. It is not that difficult, but you have to get used to who you are within to differentiate the different aspects of self. Now, isn't it funny today too, that I'm saying it's a deeper inner mind, which would be the subconscious, which is the deeper inner knowing, the true creative self. And look at where the manifesting thing is sitting deep within on the video. It's down here. But you guys, it's that kind of analogy I want you to embrace and think about. Now, which of those three aspects of you are leading the way with your perspective? Are you telling yourself the story in perspective on the whole thing we're doing here? That is, this is so difficult. This is impossible. I can't do this. There's so many things. There's so many things to figure out, right? And I have to think a thought to make it happen. I'm trying to change someone to change them out there. I'm changing me to change them. I'm doing this and I'm manifesting to make it happen. Now, you will often be thinking these things underlying it all if you ask me questions like, which are very normal and very natural. If you've asked me, I'm not putting you down. And if you ask me, I will tell you what I always say, which is I have no idea. It's about time. Well, how long do I have to do this for? How long am I going to have to do this before he changes? How long, Alexis? Now, this is the sneaky one, right? Where it's like asking in a nice way. I know you don't like answering this question, but like for people that you've seen like me, how long will this take? Okay. Now, we know all the things. Time is irrelevant, blah, blah, blah. But like if you are asking about time, that just tells me and that tells us that you have an underlying perspective about this is so difficult. This is hard. When does this have to be over? And when am I going to get my gold star? When's it going to be done? Well, never. Never, because the process of creation does not have a beginning and an end. The process and the gift, the magic that you have from your deeper sense of self to create your reality, it doesn't have a beginning and an end point. It doesn't have a start and a stop. It doesn't even stop when you leave this body. So it never stops. It is something that you want to see as, and now look at it like this in human terms. Let's say you're manifesting for your ex to come back. Okay. Now, what people usually do is I'm manifesting for the ex to come back. I have to get the ex back. Where is the ex? Alexis, I've done all of the communication affirmations. He is not here. Look who's here. My son calls it kitty cat, right? I just love the background. He's not here. He's not here. He hasn't emailed, he hasn't FaceTime, he hasn't. How much longer do I have to do this for? Okay. Now that is like saying that all we're doing here is manifesting the ex back, and we're not. We want to have the overarching perspective that this is me learning the skill of embracing with my deeper inner true authentic mind, the creation and projection of my entire reality, and now creating that relationship that I desire and that I truly want. Yes, it is creating and deciding they are back and they're coming back, but it doesn't stop there. Sorry, why would you want it to stop there? That's like saying, oh, we're back, we're done. Comfy, cozy, it's okay, nothing more to create. Heck to the no, hell to the no. Because this is it, you guys. Think about every relationship and every aspect of life. We are creators. We are designed to create. That means you will want to create something else. It's not going to stop with them coming back. So these are really big pitfalls that you can see yourself getting into. And again, this video is about perspective. So what's the right perspective to take? The perspective as an overarching theme of your whole process of reality creation is, I am learning the skill for the long haul. I am learning and fine-tuning how to create my reality and how to create the magic within, so I have magic without, and so that we have the complete, cohesive, wonderful relationship and life together into the future. Dates, vacations, things, exciting, going places. Okay, so don't get caught up in some end zone, right? Look at Tom Brady, for example. Does anyone else know football? Tom Brady was in the end zone of his career. And what did he do? He came back, came out of retirement. The guy's a rock star. And now he's part owner of my team, the Raiders. We're not going off on a sports tangent. Okay. I actually had my Raiders sweatshirt on yesterday. Maybe I'll wear that in a video. I'm a diehard Raiders fan. You can't talk me out of it. I went to their games when they were in Los Angeles. That might give you an inkling of my age. Okay. So in my mind, they are not the Las Vegas Raiders. They are the LA Raiders forever. And anyways, okay. Wow. This video's got a lot of things in it, guys. Also tidbits about me. Okay. But so like, look at this. He was in the end zone of his career, the end, the be all, Mr. this, Mr. that, right? Married to Giselle. We all know what happened with that. But he in his career, let's just talk about that. He had to come back. He had to give it one all. So there was never an end, and it's never ended for him. Okay. Look at your relationship that way. There is no end zone. There never is. There's always one end zone becomes another end zone, becomes another end zone. Even if you throw a Hail Mary, you're going to be in the end zone again. If you understand that in a sports analogy, it'll help you get this. Because the perspective we have to take is the perspective of this is the creation of my relationship. This is the recreation of me in the relationship and in the marriage for the entire time that I am here in this human body, right? I tend to think too that the more that you can embrace this, the more that you can do this, the place that we go in between lives, that's when you might get the gold star. That's when you're going to be like, listen, I really created and I achieved and I embodied self-compassion, self-value, self-patience, self-value, self-patience, self-compassion. That's what this is all about, right? That's at a spiritual, deeper level, going to this deeper self. That's what the deeper self is asking you to recreate, right? Now, self-compassion, self-value, self-appreciation, self-acceptance are the opposite of what I talk a lot about in my videos, which are abandonment and self-abandonment, rejection and self-rejection, putting self down. And again, that negative voice that isn't even your true authentic voice that was given to you by someone else that puts you down no matter what you do. We are learning to develop and create the deeper true voice, and the deeper true voice of knowing and commanding it into creation, commanding and creating your reality from that perspective. I often think too that when people first start doing this or along the way, they're creating affirmations and they're thinking a mental diet that might even not be the true authentic mental diet to create the relationship that they want when they're doing it on their own. It's like people create these mental diets I hear that are based upon, oh, well, if he follows me on social media, and if I follow him and if he posts me, then that means that he loves me. Well, no, not necessarily, right? We're going for true love, true connection, true love, true connection, true love and connection here, not something that is a societal collective consciousness sense of a thing. Okay. And it probably won't even be enough. Like he follows you, you follow him, you guys post about each other. What if that's it, right? So don't get caught up in all that stuff. You want to begin asking yourself, like, what am I doing this whole thing from? What perspective? I had some notes written down that I emailed to myself. Let me also reference those. What perspective are you doing your mental diet from? What perspective are you creating reality from? Is it from I'm doing something to get something to make it happen? No, we are changing this and embracing this and embodying this and being different, thinking different to be different. Okay. The thing is too, if you're getting very caught up in, am I living in the end appropriately? Am I living in the right end? Am I living in the right place? That is all based upon the idea that the feeling is the secret. Now, the thing is this, your thoughts create your feeling. Your thoughts create your state of being. Thought and concise thought is the basis to all. So the more that you're confusing yourself with different principles and asking, questioning, wondering, we're also just not deciding what's going on. The easiest, quickest way to see change and see it, getting it going, right? Really being in the place, being in the relationship, feeling that connection, receiving what you want from your person, right? Is to be in the place of receiving it now with your thoughts and deciding that that's what's going on. We don't want to be caught up in the habit of I'm creating this to manifest this to make it happen. Okay. No. This is a big perspective switch. It's a big perspective switch. Like think of it like there's your mental diet. There are the thoughts that you're thinking for the appropriate creation. And then there's the overarching perspective, the overarching umbrella of the whole thing. How am I viewing this whole thing? Because I'll tell you, I've had a lot of people that have worked with me that have been really trying to create their reality for years, all from, and then they realize it like a light bulb, right? After sessions of me saying the same thing and guiding them to the same thing, that the overarching perspective has been of lack and scarcity, right? Lack and scarcity instead of abundance and closeness and warmth. It's lack and scarcity. I can't do this enough. Like I'm an umbrella. Overarching perspective switch is really what I want you to think. Now, The thing is this. I have written down creating an overarching theme, creating an overarching change, okay? Is you want to first take steps to figure out like, what is my overarching perspective, right? Is my overarching perspective on this the way that my overarching perspective has been for most things, which is this is so difficult, this is so hard, things for me are difficult, things for me are hard. We want to be switching that baseline and saying, no, things for me now are different. I am learning and I am embracing the reality creation principles as a whole, as an entirety, right? Now, the other thing about this, when I say overarching theme, it's not for you to write these down and robotically affirm them all day, every day. No, these are topics, themes, okay? Themes, okay? They're not like a hack. It's a theme that will really help you switch into the place of having it, being it, and allowing it to unfold. I can't even tell you how many clients get into, like, let's say you meet someone new, you're manifesting for them. It looks like something is going on. Oh, I do have a client recently, you know who you are out there, who has manifested through her biggest fear, which was being ghosted. Now she has committed to writing me in a success story. Okay. It will be coming through. You can look forward to that in an upcoming video. You can also look forwards in a video soon about massive weight loss and change, which actually that first client she had, another client wrote in about it. And let's talk about body appearance changes. Why not, right? It often goes hand in hand with SP, relationships, wanting to feel sexy, healthy, and great in your body. Okay. But it really helps with something that's a major theme to change your major perspective about it. Because if you meet someone, you create someone new, guess what's going to happen? All of your previous thoughts, your previous perspective is going to try to come in, which is this. What are we? What are we doing? What are you calling me? Are we together? Are we doing this? What's happening, right? And it will try to get you out of the game, out of your own game, and being in control and creating how the game goes. Okay. Remember, your reality is an illusion. It's not even real. It is held in place by your perspective and your thoughts and your decision and the perspective and thoughts that you have created up until this point. Okay. So let's get into the appropriate overarching perspective, which is I am a creator of my reality. I'm learning how to embrace these skills. My overarching theme is like, I am learning how to create my reality. I am learning how to be in the beauty and the fullness of what I'm creating now. I am embracing and understanding how to do this whole thing. Like, whoa, what? Wait a minute, Alexis, nobody told me that my reality was energy. Nobody told me that my reality was held in place by me. It's by me. So all along I was misled. I thought it was held in place by them. I thought people out there were doing things to me, but it turns out that I am creating for them to do things for me because of my perspective of me. Okay. So let's just slow it down, dial it down a bit this week and get really in touch with, first of all, what's my overarching perspective on creating my reality, right? And then how am I going to switch that perspective to be like, oh, I'm perspective changing. I have got the appropriate overarching theme now, which is like, I am the creator of my reality and my thoughts create. So wow, that really gives me freedom to create and design exactly what I'm wanting and embracing the magic of my true inner deeper self, right? And what is that third voice, that true inner deeper self? Do you know who that is? Have you listened to her? Have you talked to him? Have you even been in touch with that? Probably not. You have to do this rhythmically and you have to do it on purpose, right? Now, you were in touch with that deeper inner self when you were much younger, when you were less fully awake, when you were less adult, when you were less logical, when you were less analytical, and you were more in charge of being connected with your imagination naturally. So we can do it again. Now, other things that might help you would be to go out and have some fun and do things that you used to do when you were in touch with this deeper inner, more easygoing part of yourself. Okay. Maybe that was going to the park and having picnics. Maybe it was going to the beach and being by the sea. Maybe it's ice skating, playing hockey. Maybe it's roller skating. Maybe it's reading books in the book nook of the sofa with the sun coming in and having a cookie. Maybe it's baking something, but really try to get in touch with that deeper inner knowing of self. Because this is the thing, the deeper inner knowing of your consciousness of self understands the reality creation principles. Actually, it remembers, it knows, it understands the power of the imagination and the power of thought to create. Okay, so you've got some ways to go about this. It's changing the overarching theme of reality creation on purpose, deciding that my theme for my whole experience as a human being is going to be ease, and creating that I'm learning this whole new concept and thing and building upon a new skill and a new task and a new thing to do. Get in touch with your deeper level of consciousness, the easygoing part of you that is less logical, less stressed, and less influenced by the negative voices. Access him, access her, have some fun with it. Let's get into manifesting from a wonderful, beautiful perspective, you guys. All right. So I love you all. Please look forward to those success stories coming up. But this video was more about overarching themes. Change that perspective. Change that value system for you. Let's make it less arduous, less difficult, more focused, and more determined. Okay. And that all comes down to the voices that you're listening and who is deciding. All right. I love you guys so much. I'll see you in my next video. Celebrate yourself this week. Do some of those fun things. Let's get in touch with that. We could call it in psychology and even alternative psychology, the inner child. But the childlike part of you is very in touch with the imagination. She and he and they live within you. So let's let them be embraced, and not in an inner child, what's your pain kind of way, but an inner child, you know, the magic. Let's get back to the magic of it all. All right. That's it, you guys. I love you so much. I'll see you soon. Bye.